Yo, what's up, y'all? Word up, welcome. Mikey D, the real Mikey D, history, his story, meaning my story. So, before we get started, I just want to give y'all a little rundown about how this came about, you know what I'm saying? So, off the rip, I don't rock with gimmicks. I don't do the gimmicks. I love everything authentic. So, if I mess up, have a brain fart or whatever, we're gonna keep the cameras rolling. Matter of fact, there's only two of us. It's myself and my man Calcutta. Our other partner, Prick Calci, is in London taking care of some other business. Calcutta, to let people know that this is real, man, come from behind that camera. Come from behind the camera and come introduce yourself, but let the people see you, man. We're gonna let people know this is the real deal, right? It's my man, Calcutta. So, he doesn't even have to be behind that camera anymore, bro. We don't even need you back there. If you want to play PlayStation or whatever, do your thing, because we're not editing. The only time we'll be editing on this show is when we have our guests, and our guests will usually come via or whatever you want to call it, streaming app. So that's when we'll edit that conversation in. Now, as far as this platform, we're starting small because in order to grow into a bigger platform, you first have to plant the seed. So this is the seed being planted. And if you want to help us grow into that wonderful plant, help us water the seed by donating to the Cash App. You know what I'm saying? All donations will be appreciated, and you will see the growth, and we will share everything with you. You know, we'll pay back by quality music, you know, special giveaways and things like that, because we definitely believe in giving back. There's a few things I want to say. The reason we started this platform is because got tired of waiting for people. You know, for years and years and years, you know, I've had this story to tell, and it seems like each time I go on the internet and, you know, I Google my name, something is being erased from my history. You know what I mean? And I feel like I don't want to be gone and then somebody else sells my story and gives it their own narrative and spin. So, like they used to say, you know, it's best to hear it from the horse's mouth. But what makes my story different is it's not only about me, because there are people that I've interacted with along this journey that I think also need to be recognized as well, because my story isn't just the story of me running around with a few friends and making it big. My story is learning from legends, rubbing shoulders with peers that became legends, and instead of me just telling my own story, I thought it would be different to allow them to tell the story with me. Instead of me just tooting my own horn, it's best to have certification. I don't care about the verification. Verification is only a check on Instagram or, you know, a check on Facebook. The reason I'm not verified on those platforms is because the higher ups within those applications don't know my history. You hear me? But the streets certified me what I am. So certification over verification any day. You know what I mean? With that being said, I want to give a shout out to Rob Schwartz of WhoMag Multimedia for giving us this opportunity and allowing us to share his platforms to reach out to the world. We started out as just a YouTube channel. Now we branched off to Roku, Apple TV, you know, WhoMag Multimedia app, WhoMag Multimedia TV. You know, we're moving. Salute to Pastor Torch, salute to Calcutta, man. This dude stuck with me through thick and thin, and we're here now, you know what I mean? Salute to everyone that's gonna participate on this platform. Man, I'm excited, and it's gonna be real dope, and I just need y'all to, you know, support and help us grow. So, with that being said, let's start this journey. My journey starts in Laurelton, Queens, New York. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with my grandparents. You know what I mean? Because my mom, she was married to my stepfather, Richard Mason, and my mom's, you know, she was young and beautiful, and she still was enjoying life as a teenager because she had me at the age of 17, you know. But my grandparents, you know, they wanted me with them because Richard Mason, he was an abusive husband, you know what I mean? And they was not gonna allow him to abuse me. You know, I'm the golden child, baby. You know what I mean? So my nana and my grandfather, they raised me in Laurelton, Queens. And you know, I'm gonna skip around during this thing. And like I said, we're not doing no editing and all of that. This is gonna be real. So if I mess up, the bloopers is gonna be seen right here. So anyway, long story short, from being a little one to growing up, you know, like real young. Next door to me, there was a lady, man, wonderful lady. I can't remember her name. Miss Parks, something like that. Anyway, she had two grandsons, Michael Parks and Derek Parks. Michael was the older brother. We called him Mike Action. And Derek Parks was the younger brother, you know, in my age group. And so they lived in Harlem. Mike Action, you know, he was old enough to attend what we know now as the hip hop functions. I never even heard of hip hop until one summer Derek came around and started, you know, playing these tapes, because we were sitting on his grandmother's steps right next door to my grandmother. He bought his brother's big radio outside and was playing this tape, and this is the first time that I heard hip hop. It was with Grandmaster Caz and all of them on it, and it was just a wonderful thing. So instead of me, you know, trying to remember all of this by myself, because I am an older guy and sometimes I get brain farts, I'm gonna call my man D Money, and I'm gonna let him share the story. So y'all wait right there, don't move, because I got the good old iPad right here, Apple iPad with the Apple Magic keyboard. You know, I got the Apple pen, you know, sponsorship, hint, hint, hint. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna get my man D Money on the line. We gonna talk about this, all right? So this is where we edit into the conversation. Yeah. So we got my brother D Money, ever loving.
You already know.
Building.
You already know, baby. What up, Mike?
Man, I'm maintaining, man. I'm trying to make it move, man. I'm planting the seed.
Okay, that's what it is. And just gotta sprinkle a little water. It's gonna grow, baby, in its own time. In God's time, it's gonna grow.
That's a fact. That's why I told our viewers to help sprinkle the water by donating to that Cash App, man. Donate to the Cash App.
I'm coming.
You know
There it is, baby.
They can watch it grow and they can be a part of this, man, because, yo, you know how we do, man. We independent, so we take it into our own hands instead of waiting for the machine to tell the story.
Absolutely. And that's what we gotta do. We ain't waiting on no one, okay?
That's a fact. So what I was telling the people, I was like, how you know, I came up next door to your grandmom's when I was a young buck, and how you are the one that brought hip hop to my ears, man. So let's try to reminisce and tell them how that went, man.
All right, so, boom, well, you know, I lived in Harlem at the time, as you know, you probably already told the people, and that was around in the early 70s, right? So I say around 75, 76, that's when I really got into the whole hip hop scene, right? And that was, you know, the time where Harlem World was popping, the PAL Uptown, the Armory, all that, and the Grandmaster Caz's, the Funky 4+1, Grandmaster Flash, and the Grand Wizard Theodore, all of them, like I was young, so I couldn't go to the shows, but you know, my older brother was, and back then it was always cassette tapes or all the major shows, like how the Versus thing went down the other day with Dipset and the Locks. Like that's how it was in Harlem World with the Cool Mo D's and the Busy B. That tape right there, that Cool Mo D's Busy B tape, so that's a classic tape still to this day, and I believe my brother still got them. But let's bring up the stage my brother DJ Mike Action, right back then, and he's my older brother, so he had all the tapes for all the shows back then, you know, and that's when the big boom boxes was out. Of course, he had that, right? And we used to hang out in front of our building in Harlem, playing the tapes or whatever, you know. And fast forward, yeah, I kind of used to jack his tapes and bring them out to Queens, to my grandmother's house, who lived right next door to Mike. And we used to spend our summers out in Queens, right? So I used to take the tapes, bring them out there, right? And Mike, as he said, that was his introduction to hip hop. Hearing those classic tapes, and then he used to just, well, they call it bite, but back then he wasn't trying to be MC. We just was, you know, word for word with the tapes. We learned all their routines, everything, right? And then later on, we formed our own crew, the Grandmaster 3, right? And Mike, I believe his first rhyme that he wrote was Yvette, if I ain't mistaken, Mike.
Kim. It was
right, Kaz was Yvette.
Kaz is Yvette.
Yvette, right. Mike was Kim or whatever. And then from there or whatever, Mike just took off to what y'all see now or whatever. That goes back to the late 70s, early 80s. Mike used to study those tapes or whatever, but formed his own style, whatever. And Mike wasn't really into sports, right? We would always go to our park, the Bello, play ball, football. Mike was straight with that pen game or whatever, to the point, like we went to different high schools. He went to Springfield High School. I went to Hillcrest High School. And I used to hear the stories of Mike in the lunchroom. They like, yo, this dude don't be in class or whatever. I'm blowing you up, Mike. They're like, this dude is always in the lunchroom rhyming. Whoever beating on the table, Mike just rhyming, battling dudes or whatever, right? And then after high school, all through high school, after high school, I mean, rest in peace to Biz, whatever. We used to have summer jams in the park, and I can remember Biz out there. This is early on with Mike, rhyming, doing their thing or whatever, and Mike just stuck with it, you know, from then through Grandmaster 3, LA, what was it, Mike? The LA Rap Master.
LA Rap Masters, Phenomenal
right.
Four, Clientele Brothers.
Right, you know.
As guests as well, man. Word.
Right, and Mike, he just stuck with it. And over the years, you know, watching him grow in that craft or whatever, and as he said, I'm the one that brought it to his ears. And me and Mike's only a year apart, but I look at him, you know, it's like a proud father moment where I see where he started and where he's at now. It's like, yo, I'm glad my brother stuck with it, made a career out of it, you know. And I played the background, because even when we was at the Springfield reunion last year, somebody was interviewing. He's like, nah, come on, D, you part of this though. If it wasn't for you, or and I really don't, I appreciate the love, but I really don't look at it as, you know, if it wasn't for me, he wouldn't do it. Because hip hop, I mean, you just look at kids today on the radio. So sooner or later, he would have heard on the radio, however, and I think Mike still would have been the same place he is today, with or without.
But you got to take credit, because you are the one that introduced me to it. It was like a baton, B. You gave me that hip hop, and I ran with it, man. And it's another funny thing that you mentioned the Grandmaster 3, because I think, you know, Grandmaster Kaz inspired me, and then my first group was with you, the Grandmaster 3. And I don't think this interview wouldn't be right if we don't have the Grandmaster 3 in here. So we got to bring our partner in, the lovable little B. Man.
No doubt.
Let's see if I got that brother in the waiting room. Let's bring Boo out. You know what I mean?
Bring my brother in here.
Oh, here he is. Let's go. Boo. Add to the stream. Let's go.
What it do?
Yo. Little B in the building.
Yeah, the whole three together. The Grandmaster 3 is in the house.
Yo,
No doubt, no doubt. What up, baby?
What up? What up?
Ain't nothing,
Queens
man.
is
Maintain
definitely
it.
in the house.
yo, boom. So we was talking about how D Money used to bring those tapes from Harlem to Queens, you know, sitting on his grandmom's steps, and then
No
he brought
question.
up the Grandmaster 3. Now, with you, your big brother and Derek's big brother was Mike Action, and your brother was Oliver, Ali T. He had equipment in the basement. So
Yep.
you kind of got a piece of the DJ aspect of it prior to me even getting an earful of it. What was that like in the crib? Because I remember going down there and he had the 2 big speakers and the turntable.
Yeah.
What was that like, man?
Wow. Like
Yeah.
I said, I mean, the same way D expired you, he damn sure did it, you know, put a fire under my belt as well, you know. So
Yeah.
with my brother getting the equipment and then me sneaking down there when he's not down there, started mixing and, you know, getting the Pop's old records together and doing our thing, and Derek coming over and we, you know, both doing our thing. Because
Yo,
you
but hold up,
didn't
baby.
even mention what up.
Hold on, I gotta interrupt you. Why the hell we had to sneak our big older brother's shit? Like, why they ain't supposed to just show us love? I'm sneaking, taking the tapes to bring them out to play. You sneaking downstairs to get on the clip. Like, why they just ain't show us love and get that shit to us?
No doubt, yo. You know how big brothers are with little brothers. They think we gonna just break shit up. You know what I'm saying? But
Word.
all in all, you know, we did our thing, you know, and what you didn't mention is that, you know, I live right across the street from both of them. So all of us all grew up together. We got like 50 plus years in this, you know what I'm saying?
Been that shit since we moved on. Grams moved on the block in '72, so we came out that summer. So we knew each other like we real sandbox, you know.
No doubt, no doubt. You know, that's definitely what up.
You know what's crazy? Me and you used to go to day camp together before.
Oh my God, yo.
I'm gonna have Bruce. Remember Bruce?
Happy Woods.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
He's gonna be on the platform, man.
Wow.
Happy Woods Day Camp.
Wow. But Mike, we can even go further back. Walking to school together, 3rd and 4th grade, yo. PS 37.
Yo, remember I used to wear shoes just to ice skate?
Oh my.
Yo, hold up. I got the ultimate. Remember when I moved back from Texas and y'all used to make fun of my big cookies? The big feet, the Adidas with the 4th stripe?
Yeah.
I remember when I jumped off that roof next door to you and my foot came all the way through?
Oh, yeah.
That's an ill story. But the ultimate story of jumping off roofs is when Dave Moore got hooked. He jumped and got hooked on the joint. He was hanging. That's some funny shit.
I can still see him to this day hanging on that joint, yo. That's how funny that joint is, man.
Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy. Where did D Money go?
I'm staying.
All right. My phone rang.
Where is he?
My bad, but we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. Yo, we got the Grandmaster 3 right here, man. Ever loving Kid Ice, which is D
No
Money.
doubt.
Lovable Little B. With
In the house.
Playboy Mikey D. Man, we're gonna have to get Johnny Quest, you know.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. We can't
We gotta
forget.
have Dave Moore for sure.
Yeah, Dave, yo. That's what I'm saying. The more
we definitely can't forget the illest DJ or whatever. I'm saying, put it out. He was the illest DJ in Queens back then.
No question.
Shit Johnny Quest was doing or whatever. That Twin Tower shit y'all used to do.
Yeah.
Crazy. That shit was crazy. Yo, Mike, I know you probably did it before, but explain to the people what the Twin Towers was.
You know what? This is the first time that I'm explaining the Twin Towers, man.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Yo, we had a brother down with the crew called Al Capone, God rest his soul. He was a pretty big dude. And what Johnny Quest and Al Capone would do, Johnny Quest would get on Al Capone's shoulders and cut with his feet. Al Capone used to control the crossfader, but Quest would use his feet to cut. And that was the Twin Towers.
Yo, that was crap. I remember the first time I didn't see. We ain't have the camera phones and shit back then, because that's some shit that would have shut a lot of DJs down, even to this day.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So I got a question for both of y'all. So from where we've been to where hip hop is now, what are your thoughts on, the way it is now? Compared to, because we were there from birth of hip hop.
Right.
These are great grandchildren. What do you think of the evolution of hip hop?
I started off like back then. I had this conversation over the years many a times. I can't knock what's going on now because it's all part of the art form or whatever, right? But everyone, like the styles now, the lack of, to me, everyone is sounding the same. Okay, so to me, it's no originality. Like back then or whatever, and yeah, it's a no fact. And even with us, when we first heard Cool J on the radio, I swear to God, you my brother, live right next door. I thought it was you. Right. Real. I'm like, Mike ain't even, he ain't tell us he got a joint. That's how y'all sounded, right? But y'all, other than y'all voices back then, y'all styles or whatever was different to me, right? With all that's going on now or whatever, like I said, I don't knock them. Salute to this era now for doing what they do, right? But not my preference. Yeah, let's just put it that way. I really can't listen to, like, y'all know me. Anytime you around me, Mike, you come to the crib, it's that our era of hip hop. That's all I keep on rotation in the car, wherever I'm at in the crib, right? That new stuff, I ain't gonna say I don't have an ear for it, but my preference is not to listen to it. All just all around, like your question from then to now or whatever, I would take our era over that era any day. Any day. It just doesn't move me like our era. And that's fine, because this is what I call this era is like the 106 in Park era. That age group or whatever, this they shit. I mean, and I'll be seeing the videos or whatever, on IG, Facebook with them at the concerts in the club. Yo, the youngins is turning up to it just as we did in our time. So it's just not for me. To sum it all up, this era of hip hop is just not for me.
I got you. What about you, boo?
Yeah, I'm a piggyback off of D. I feel the same way, but everything revolves. You know what I'm saying? So it just comes to a point where it's like our ear is still with old school hip hop, because we basically, birthed that. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that we going to keep in our hearts no matter what.
Yeah, that's
you feel me? And with this new generation, that's for the new generation. And we just going to keep it like that. You know what I'm saying? But the thing that I feel that is wrong with the new generation, with a lot of the new rappers, is that they don't give respect to the old rappers, because if it wasn't for them, then where would they be? You feel me?
100.
Yeah,
100.
That's true. And I also blame the machine, the corporate, the industry, because a lot of this music that they promote and that makes it to the mainstream is dumbed down music. Because when we were coming up, music taught us something, and that's why I was proud to say hip hop raised me, because I was raised by an era that was full of morals and integrity, and you know what I mean? See, today's music is more of a vibe. It's not even about the skills anymore. It's not about what you say to these kids. They don't want to go to the club and have to break out the dictionary to break down what you're saying. They just want to vibe off of the beat, and vibe off of the hook, which is cool. But when you start calling the ladies the B word and you're glorifying Molly's and all of that, that's when I gotta draw the line. You know what I mean? And it's no disrespect to the younger generation because, like you said, Boo, they don't respect the older cats, and then at the same time, that's one of the reasons why the older cats don't want to embrace them. Yeah, we should be taking them under our wing and being like, look, young brother. You know what I mean? That's
exactly.
Because the generation gap is so crazy. We need to have that sit down, and I think the younger cats can learn from our mistakes, and I think we can learn from the younger cats how to navigate through this technology age. And there's no reason why the younger cats don't know who their forefathers are, because it's all in the computer. All they got to do is search the web, and the information is there, man.
But you know what, Mike, with that, they're not interested in doing that because that dollar sign, like these contracts that they giving these dudes, and just to go back to what you say, I blame corporate because they're putting these big paydays on these dudes, right? And they have to conform to what they want them to say, far as project-wise, far as record. Now, you need to make a record, like you said, Mike. Yo, you need to call women bitches like at least 100 times through the song. You know what I'm saying? You need to talk about the guns and the drugs in the hood and this, that, and the third. And they just sucking that up. And if you got to think, a lot of these cats, coming in 21, 22, 20, around that age or whatever, and motherfuckers is giving you, if not $1 million contracts, close to it or whatever, right? You balling out, getting the jewelry, the cars, your mama house, all this. Why would they not do what corporate is telling them to do? They want to keep that money coming in. And that's where it's lost at. And like I said, no disrespect to them, because this and that, you gotta do what you gotta do to feed your family, whatever.
Yeah, and not only that, but I think also is back in the days, it was the love of rap. You felt that in your heart. You know what I'm saying? So it made a lot more sense. Nowadays, like you said, it's just all about the money. Just give me the money and I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And that's that. You're not feeling it in your heart. You're not feeling it. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm going to tell you, like you said, B, it was the love for us. I don't know if you watched the verses the other night.
Yeah, okay.
Yo, that now, everybody know, I used to tour with Jada now for many years or whatever, right? Now, all leading up to it, everybody, Dipset, this. I was like, Dipset not going to bring that energy or whatever. I was like, witnessing Jada live up close. I was on tour with that dude for 3 months, all over Florida, me and my crew, right? His energy every night was what y'all saw the other night. Now, to the love of it, like when the Locks was performing, all three of them, but mainly Jada, that feel that I got was like, this is hip hop right here. This is real. And like he said, we in New York, right? We don't do that lip sync. That energy, I felt that. Whenever Dipset came on, I was like,
it was like,
exactly.
I feel that. I mean,
turn the channel.
I stayed tuned in, whatever. But it's like, and I had that shit coming through the bowl system. And when the Locks was on, Wifey and them was like, come on, pizza. Man, I had it cranked. When Dipset came on, I turned that shit down. When Dipset came on, it was at a low level. Like, I just didn't feel that energy, And like I said, that's that love.
Yeah.
And that's
go ahead, Mike.
Real recognized real, because when the Locks was on, I was prouder than a mother effer, because people don't understand the relationship or my connection to the Warlocks.
The Warlocks.
They don't understand that the first joint that they was on was Set It Off on the Main Source album.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No question.
Already rapping. with Jadakiss and Chic, and I went to the Bomb Squad's basement and I heard these brothers and I saw the energy and I knew that they was hip hop, you know.
Right.
And this is damn near 30 years later, 20 something years later, 27 years later, or something like that, and they still got it. And the reason I believe that they wiped the floor with Dipset is because that bond is still there. These guys
no question.
And when they went apart, it was all business. They always came back like this, man. But Dipset, they went this way, and they, you can tell there was still a little animosity between certain members. But yeah, salute to the Locks, man. Salute. But this is my story. This ain't their story. But yo, we getting ready to run short on time, man. But yo, it's always a pleasure to see my brothers, man. We got over 50 years, man. Come on, you already know.
No doubt,
no question.
And the love, like you said, 50 years, man, and we still coming together. Like, it ain't no front. It's right here between the three of us, man. Like, the love, it's like these are my biological brothers. That's how deep it is with us. And we don't see each other all the time or whatever. But just like we kicking it now, it's like we saw each other yesterday. You know, that bond ain't gonna never.
That's it.
That bond ain't never breaking, man. I love y'all dudes for real, man.
Love you, definitely,
you too, man. You already know. Love is love.
No question.
Yo, I'm gonna end this stream, but y'all stand by. We gonna kick it for a minute, man.
All right, cool, no doubt.
Gentlemen, y'all have just heard from my big brother, big 1 year apart brother, D-Money, and my month apart brother.
Y'all say what it is, peace.
No question. Salute.
Sagittarius in the building, but
no question.
In the building, you know what I mean? So this is the
salute.
First episode of the History Channel. You know what I'm saying? Love. We gonna get back.
One.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. Got a chance to chop it up with my brothers, man. That was my first rap group, man. The Grandmaster 3. Insane, man. We started out talking to my man D-Money, the brother that introduced me to this whole thing called hip hop, and my brother Little B joined us, man. That was a great surprise, man. Word up, man. So I want to thank y'all for joining us on this episode of The Real Mikey D History. That's his story. And like I said, this is just the seed. We are just planting the seed. If y'all want to help this plant grow, please help us water the seed, man, by donating to that Cash App. All right? One love. Stay tuned for the rest of the episodes. We got some real exciting and interesting guests. I'm going to take y'all on my whole journey. We've just begun, and it's going down, y'all. Peace and blessings. Salute. And we out of here.